hostilities. We pray for the opportunity for all to live in peace. And so I'd like to invite Simon and his family. Simon is going to be called to the Torah tomorrow morning as a bar mitzvah. We are very much looking forward to that celebration. And in honor of that, we invite Simon and his family to come forward. You can find the blessings. Oh, that was quite a snap. You can find the blessings on page 2 and on page 5 in the Siddur. Nicole, if you light these first. Yep, that's good. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim. We continue now with the Sabbath hymn, Lecha Dodi. You can find the words on page 20 or in the thicker volumes, page 138. Please join together with us. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi mekor haberacha, Merosh mikedem nisucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. always taken with the image of actually going out and greeting Shabbat and making that effort to be outside, to be in nature, to experience the wonder that is all of creation. One of the images, of course, is that of greeting the Sabbath bride, but I think it is also much more than that. Not so much in the image of a human, but really embracing the totality of creation. And we move from this spirit of welcome, this spirit of experiencing that which is all around us, and rising for the call to worship the Baruch Hu, which begins the formal part of our worship together. Page 28 or 146. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. We continue together at the top of page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 33. We continue responsively. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. Then this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta baham v'shivtecha b'veitecha ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם ארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness together, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele. Malechutecha ra'u vanecha, okei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam. Ze Elianu ve'amru, Ze Elianu ve'ameru. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. We continue together at the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44, Vishamru. Vishameru Bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot, et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, oti leolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash v'shamiru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat. Tomorrow morning, Simon will be called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah. This evening, in anticipation of that moment, we invite Simon to come forward and lead us in the Amidah. Simon, on page 46, continuing on page 48 and page 50, I invite you to rise as you are able. Come right here in front of me. Turn this right
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanara El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Chakol V'Zocher Asei Avot V'Ima'ot Umevi Geulam Livnei V'neihem V'Ma'ashemo Be'ahava Melech Chazer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mekadesh HaKol Rav Le'oshia Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem Mechalchel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Ve'Rofei Holim Umatir Asurim Umakayem et Umato Lishenei Afar Mi Chamocha Ba'al Givurot Umido Melech Melech Mimit Mekayeh Umatmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman Atah V'atayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol.
Please be seated. We continue now on page 60 with the prayer Shalom Rav, a prayer that invokes God to bring peace into our world, to spread over us a Shalom Rav. At the convention, we had on Wednesday evening, the last evening of the convention, we had a Beit Cafe, a coffee house, an opportunity for various colleagues to be brave enough to stand up in front of the group and share some of their talent. And one of my colleagues who got up is, among many other things, an incredible poet. And I'm not going to share the poem. I want to share the idea of the poem. The idea comes from the motzi, the blessing over the meal. And specifically, it's a blessing over bread. on Shabbat, the blessing over the challah. And you'll recall that the blessing is for God who is Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz, who brings forth bread from the earth. Right? And as he pointed out, bread doesn't come from the earth. Bread can come from a store, it can come from a farm, it can come from your kitchen, but it doesn't necessarily come from the earth. The wheat comes from the earth. The materials that we need come from the earth. But it requires human creativity to take those resources and to turn them into bread. And so the blessing is not so much for God who brings forth bread from the earth, but the blessing is for God who provides the resources and the human creativity to make that happen. And he connected this idea to the idea of shalom, that we don't necessarily pray to God who is the maker of peace, right? That's up to us. We're given the materials. We're given the intuition, the insight, the wisdom, the methods to bring about peace, and it's up to us to engage them. So I'd like you to think of this image as we join together in singing this prayer for shalom, a prayer really that hopefully motivates us to do even more to make that real in our world. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol et u'v'chol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. I invite you to take these next few moments for the prayers not necessarily found within our prayer books, but the prayers that we can each find written upon our hearts.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי להגיון לבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי בגואלי
Many among us are thinking of friends and family members, members of our community who are struggling with illness of body and illness of spirit. It may even be we ourselves who are engaged in this struggle for healing. For those who are participating in our digital sanctuary, we invite you to share the names of the people that you are especially thinking of in this moment. And for those gathered here in the chapel this evening, if there are names that you wish to share out loud, I invite you to rise and share them now. As a congregation, we are especially thinking of Lori Bacalar, Irene Barkin, Alan Terry Burke, Dee Bittman, Norman Boyer, Sorara Corva, Daniela Davis, Arlene Drucker, Alan Hirsch, Lori Kaplan, Jim Clapman, Asher Levin, Mark Pierce, Ronald Rubin, Jackie Shistil, Rabbi Robert Schreibman, Arthur Sirk, Jocelyn Snower, Patricia Weinfuss, Mark Weiss, Marilee Wicks, Beth Weiner, and George Wittenberg. You can find the Misha Berach prayer for healing on page 253. Please join together with me. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Lehimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. One of my rabbinic colleagues wrote a beautiful prayer, a prayer for the state of Israel, its security forces, and for the hostages. Rabbi Yair Tobias. May it be your will that the state of Israel be a home in which all its residents can live with love, solidarity, peace, and friendship. May it be a place of security, serenity, and trust, where the spirit of generosity and loving kindness flourishes. May hate, animosity, fear, terror, and indifference find no place in it. May all its leaders and officials be blessed with wisdom, integrity, and fairness. Guard, protect, and give courage to all who serve and defend the state of Israel. May its soldiers, reservists, police, rescue, and security forces return home in sound body and mind. May we witness the safe return in body and in soul of all of the captives and the missing, as it is written, "For in joy you will go forth and be guided in peace. The mountains and hills will exult before in you in rejoicing song." Bless all the residents who keep the country functioning through hard work, love, and commitment, so that we may see better days and the prophecies fulfilled. No longer will violence be heard in your land. I will grant peace in the land, and you shall lie down untroubled by anyone. I will give the land respite from vicious beasts, and no sword shall cross your land. V'chititu charvotam li'itim, v'chanetotihem lemazmerot. Lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilmadu od milchama. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not take up sword against nation. They shall never again know war. And to this let us say, Amen. I've been thinking a lot about balance these days, about how to carefully get up from a seated position, to make sure that both feet are firmly planted, to make sure that I'm paying attention to whether the sidewalk, the grass, wherever I happen to be putting my feet down is a safe place to put a foot down, and that I'm gauging each step to make sure that I can retain my balance. I know what it's like to lose my balance, both physically and also emotionally. I know what that is like. And oftentimes, I'm able to know exactly what I need to restore a sense of balance. Sometimes it's a new pair of shoes. Sometimes it is just paying more attention to where I am walking. And for the emotional balance, for the spiritual balance, oftentimes I know where to turn for that as well. To Kathy, to my family, to my congregation, to be here in prayer together as community, and to join my colleagues. I found the convention in Philadelphia of the Central Conference of American Rabbis an opportunity to balance, to center, to re-energize. There's something very interesting about the conference. Certainly we know that those who are planning the convention, October 7th happened, and many of the plans had to be quickly shifted for a convention that would then know that there would be a great need to focus our energies and our thoughts and our gathering in a very different way. We knew also how important it would be to bring our colleagues from Israel, to make it possible for them to travel and to be with colleagues here in North America, to help them acquire a greater sense of balance, living in an impossible situation in the state of Israel right now. We were able to, I believe, successfully achieve this in many ways, in ways that I hope translate to our community here as well. And one of the themes that continue to run through the convention and which we talk about on a daily basis is how it is that through simple acts of kindness, how through expressing gratitude, finding that with which to be grateful for, is so important in maintaining balance. Because too often when we lose sight of the blessings in our lives, when we lose sight of the impact that we can have, the positive impact that we can have on others, we remain very off balance. And we need reminders, I need reminders, of how important that is and how a kind word, how an expression of gratitude can hold such power to center and to balance. I would have thought incorrectly that rabbis would behave well in most every circumstance. It may be shocking to know that that's not always the case. As many of you know, I am not on social media. I was never more grateful for this than when I approached the convention. Because apparently, there is a Facebook group for the Central Conference of American Rabbis. And shocking as it may be, people don't always treat each other well in social media. I know that's shocking. I hope I haven't, blown anyone's mind with this, but it's true from what I understand. And the positive that comes from this is that the convention designed itself, the planners designed itself to be the antidote to the horrific nature of what was going on social media among colleagues, all things. And so there was extra effort that was quite noticeable to me in how people were speaking to each other and how people were helping to find new balance, new ways of speaking with one another, understanding that we are all operating at way less than 100%. That the free-flowing anxiety, that the war in Israel and Gaza, the economy, the politics, the climate, it's a lot. And to be able to be together and to find that center once again, and to be there to support one another rather than to scream at one another. It's very powerful indeed. And I was thinking about this in terms of how unbalanced I felt flying to Philadelphia. I flew on Sunday, so I'd already lost an hour through daylight savings time. And then flying to Philadelphia, I lost another hour in going from Central Time to Eastern Time. And so I came a little disoriented, and I was a little bit late. My plane was delayed, and so I was very off balance. And then I got to be with friends and colleagues, and how powerful that was in restoring balance. We don't need conventions, and we don't need to be hit over the head by a proverbial, not a real one, but a proverbial 2x4 to find that sense of balance or to realize how out of balance we are. There's actually balance provided in our calendar. And as I was reading, we're approaching the spring equinox. Yes? Have I got that right? Yes? Good. Well, I'm especially fond of this particular tikufah. This is the Hebrew word for those four moments in our calendar, the equinox, the solstice, and because my birthday happens to be March 21st. So every year I'm kind of reminded of this. And there's an interesting teaching here that comes to us from the Talmud. And I want to read it in the English from the tractate, which is Shabbat, from the Babylonian Talmud. And Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi said that Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi said in the name of Bar Kapra. Right? So from this we learn it's really important to attribute your sources and to say things in the name of the person who first taught them. Anyone who knows how to calculate astronomical seasons and the movement of the constellations and does not do so, the verse says about him, they do not take notice of the work of God and they do not see God's handiwork. That this is a transgression. If you know how to do it and you don't, you have broken a rule. Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani said that Rabbi Yochanan said, from where is it derived that there is a mitzvah incumbent upon a person to calculate astronomical seasons and the movement of the constellations? As it was stated, and you shall guard and perform for it is your wisdom and understanding in the eyes of the nations. This is from Deuteronomy. Now, on the face of it, you may say, this has nothing to do with those calculations. Wait. What wisdom and understanding is there in the Torah that is in the eyes of the nations, right? So those who are not Israelite. That is appreciated and recognized by all, whether they're Israelite or Jewish or not. You must say, this is the calculation of astronomical seasons and the movement of constellations, as the calculation of experts is witnessed by all. Right? This is a shared opportunity, and it is upon us to observe this mitzvah. Right? So why is there so much put to this? Right? Again, it's about balance. There's a teaching from a medieval midrashic collection. The collection is called Otzar Midrashim, literally meaning a collection of midrash. States that the solstices and equinoxes are times when vulnerable beings are afforded protection by one of 4 mythical beings. So here goes. On the summer solstice, it is the behemoth, a great horned beast that frightens land predators so the small animals can escape. That's 1. 2. On the autumn equinox, the great bird Ziz caws and scares the predators of the sky so the small birds can survive. On the winter solstice, the sea serpent, Leviathan, rises from the deep to frighten the large fish so that the small ones can get away. And on the spring equinox, in Hebrew, Tikufat Nisan, the seraphim, the fiery angels, lift up their heads and frighten all the malevolent spirits who prey on human beings. What a beautiful tradition, that the changing of the seasons, which keep darkness and light in balance, also keep the natural world in balance. This is a powerful contemporary tradition to mark these calendrical moments with reflection on our ability, our responsibility, indeed our obligation to keep the world sustainably in balance, to keep ourselves in balance. And Tikufat Nisan, in which we find ourselves approaching right now, seems to be a time particularly dedicated to keeping our human world peaceful by sending away our own demons. On a personal note, I'm hoping that the demons that inspire people to behave so badly on social media are scattered away and are replaced by the best of us, the angels within each and every one of us that know about kindness, that know about gratitude, and that help keep us all in balance. Shabbat Shalom. Aleinu l'shabeach, it is upon us, as we remain balanced in our world, to give expression of gratitude to the one who called the world into being with word and with breath. Page 282. Please rise as you are able. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei gdula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol amonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, Vayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo Please be seated. We now think of loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have brought into our hearts with our own. For those participating in our digital sanctuary, I invite you to share the names of the loved ones that you are thinking of in this moment. And for those present here in the chapel, if it is your custom to do so, I invite you to rise as I share the name of your loved one. We remember the recent passings of Bill Brown and Stanley Weiss. In this past week, we think of all the innocent civilians killed, caught in the crossfire of war, of terror, and of violence. And the following is Yartzeit, the anniversary whose death occurred this season in years past. Jane Abraham, Melvin Bear, Hazel Bellows, Joseph Brown, Gary Croman, Nathan Desnet, Lillian Delinka, Rick Feldman, Shirley Fishbane, Jack Garfield, Jean Glick, Arnold Heaps, Charles Eicher, Fanny Jacobson, Lawrence Jatovsky, Jeffrey Kahn, Jean Levin, Frank Locke, June Luxmore, Rafael Machado, Jean Milstein, Shirley Mora, Ethel Platt, Rita Rosenthal, Shirley Rothenberg, Brandon Rothstein, Roy Rubin, Milton Ruthstein, Leo Schiffman, Dorothy Sims, Irving Smith, Jill Sonnabend, Mary Stevens, Nan Stevens, Rabbi Alan Tarshish, Dennis Weinberg, William Weisberg, Sybil Winograd, and Elwyn Winston. Are there other names that we are remembering in this moment? Zichronam livracha, may the memory of the righteous always be for a blessing. Together as one family, we turn to Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. I invite you to rise as you are able. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and bring comfort to all who are bereaved among us. And together let us say, Amen. Please be seated. Babette?
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Babette Sanders. I'm a member of the Temple Jeremiah Board of Directors. It's a pleasure to see you, the people I can see and the people who I can't see. We're glad you chose to share this part of Shabbat with us. Thank you, Rabbi, Paul, Fred, for a beautiful service. And Mazel Tov to Simon and your family. We hope that tomorrow, you'll remember tomorrow 10 years from now, 20 years, and 50 years from now, because it truly is a landmark day in your Jewish life, in your life and in your Jewish life. And we're glad that you and your family have chosen to have you celebrate that here with us. So, Mazel Tov to you. Purim is here. Last time I said Purim is coming. Now Purim is here. And so Sunday is a day full of Purim at Temple Jeremiah for kids and kids at heart. So the day starts off with the Shushan Shuffle at 9 o'clock.
We
Come,
have over 40 people registered for
All
the
right.
run walk. So-
That's great.
And there's still room for more, so if you haven't already signed up, feel free to.
And the fun part, it's fun to be with all of our friends, but for me, I've done other races, and I get to have a really low number. Usually I'm like 8,972, and on these races, I get to be like number 7. I feel so powerful when I'm racing. So come join us. It's a lot of fun. At 10:30, there's a Purim Spiel, and the Shushan Shuffle benefits Shalva. At 10:30 is the Purim Spiel, and followed by the Purim Carnival at 11. Wednesday, March 20th, is the Musar of Purim with Rabbi Cohn. And then next Saturday, March 23rd, in the evening, is the adult Purim party, Jeremiah's Greatest Hits. So you'll have to come and find out what that's all about. And then I think spring break is after that for most of our families. And then the first weekend in April, there are 2 guests and a variety of activities, Lisa Canner and Alice McGinty, is that correct? And there are a variety of activities. So please read your Thursday email, read the Temple Bulletin, read the Covenant, and find out all about the joy of belonging, because there's a reason for everybody to be here. There's a reason you're here tonight, and there's a reason for you to participate in all of our activities. And we hope you do feel that you do belong to Jeremiah. So, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Babette. Please rise and remain standing for our closing blessing. And you already know the words to this one. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Bruchim ayinu b'voenu, bruchim niyeh b'tzeitenu. Blessed are we as we gather together to welcome Shabbat. Blessed will we be from this time and always. Shabbat Shalom.